I was contacted by Lincoln Township, got an intersection at Northwest 200th Street,
Street,
Northwest 40th Avenue,
40, yeah.
that they need to see if I was placing stop signs at, so I had the engineer come out.
Did you,
And look at
thought
that.
they needed them? Is it just blind or?
It's got some high corners, and then if anything's growing there, or weeds are growing there, where they don't get taken care of, it's,
Where's that at?
it'd be north of Seward.
In Northwest 200?
Be 6 miles north of Seward?
Yeah, 6
Yeah,
miles.
basically, 6 miles north
Go
of
to
Cape
Cape
Mountain.
19.
Or, yeah, so
and
5
then
north.
And then 4
And it'd
west.
be- Seward actually sits on the half-mile line, which is northwest 25th Avenue, so
Yeah.
it'd be a mile west of there.
Oh,
So that's almost
5 miles
to the
north.
Barton
Yeah, it's
County
not-
line.
Yeah,
not
it's just a
far from
mile
the
south of the
line.
county line, that's all it is.
I make a motion that we approve resolution number 2021-22.
A second?
It's been moved and seconded, we adopt resolution 2021-22.
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. So you guys gonna put the sign, or they gonna?
We'll put the signs up for them first time, but we will charge them for the signs, we pay for the engineering study, so.
How much does one of those studies cost to have them come out and do that?
We'll have to see.
Yeah, because they come around every so often, don't they, and look at all of them?
No, only if you call them and tell them. Ours are already, ours.
When I was on Ohio Township, I asked him about that, and the other two guys thought that they came out every once in a while and looked at them, but there's one right there at David McCandless's house that needs a stop sign,
Yeah.
bad.
And I mean, at some point, some of these townships probably say, okay, and I think if that would be the case, we would pay for all of, I mean, that'd be up to you guys.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a lot of burden on us for,
Well, yeah, I thought it was a little, that they, I didn't know, I mean, I didn't know any better.
that's how it's always been done up till
Yeah.
now. That's all I can tell you, I mean.
Yeah, there's one, I mean, if guys like me are stopping, it's bad.
Yeah.
You need to,
Well, especially this time of year, I mean,
Yeah.
some of the corn.
they planted cedar trees, and I don't think, you probably planted the cedars, Todd.
Which
They're on Astles, just catty corner from David McCandless's house.
Yeah.
And those cedars are getting big now,
Yeah,
to where it's CRP grass and then cedars. And if you're heading north, you can't see at all.
see, there's a line of sight deal you can do, but man, you hate to go out and probably, do that to
Well,
people's
yeah,
stuff.
beautiful trees, beautiful
Yeah,
windbreak.
But it's also,
Yeah.
it's a hazard,
Normally, they have us stop like 100 foot back from the road
so,
to keep it from blinding off the intersections.
yeah.
But when
usually
some people want it planted, I mean, right up.
Yeah, these are up, and it doesn't help that the elevation is a lot different. The road is 8, 9 feet lower than where the cedars are.
So you don't
Even
have-
if the cedars weren't
If you have
there,
a
it's
little
still,
car, you're probably not gonna be able to
Yeah.
see it. Pickup's not this much of a problem.
but man, it makes me nervous because that's a bad one. If you were,
Well, yeah. And then they called me the other day, the striping that was supposed to happen for stuff we just sewered is not going to be able to take place, they cannot get paint.
Really?
Isn't that something? My deer blind, best loaded deer blinds come a different color because they can't get the base for the dark green that those deer blinds are made of.
Is that right?
And
Now
that's
they're-
coming from Sherwin-Williams.
now they're bright pink.
They're kind of a, it's kind of a neon, or it's kind of a lighter green.
They told me that.
So they show up good on the drum and you can tell your guys where they're at or what? I'll tell you what, they're so.
Rainbow color.
Yeah.
Well, oil filters are getting hard to get. We went to get it, we went to order an air filter for the truck we bought this year. They don't have it. Caterpillar, it's a Donaldson filter. Caterpillar couldn't get it, so we went online and found somebody that said they had it, so he ordered, so we'll find out. But it's just nuts.
Yeah, Bruce told me it's 41 weeks to get a new stock trailer if I order it today. If I order a travel long, it's 50 weeks.
And they won't guarantee what the price is.
Yeah.
You just gotta order it and then pay what it costs when you get it.
Kinda
Yeah.
tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you say 50 weeks?
Yeah, a year, basically.
Yeah.
The Titan's 41.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's unreal.
How do you, I mean, how would we buy something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I guess whatever you need, you think you're gonna need a year from now. That's taking planning to the extreme, it's almost like you live in a third world country.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean.
and it's not just one thing, it's from paint to stock trailers or pickups.
Oh, yeah, I know some guys that are having to, and of course, we got some people down there that you just hope they keep going.
Okay, yeah.
So, like last year, we didn't get the striping done because of coronavirus, right?
No, last year was because it was so late.
Okay.
They didn't let the contract until the 15th of October or something, somewhere in that neighborhood.
And we usually get like a state or federal or state fund for the striping, so how's it
We-
all work when we have 3 years of striping to do next year?
So, well, no, the other striping in the southeast corner got done early this spring.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
okay.
it did take place.
So we'll only be a year behind next year.
So they will probably take place next spring, and then probably next fall,
Okay.
we will do we'll probably have to hire the contractor that we've had before to come in and do it.
Okay.
Because we didn't get any Irish Grove money for, we don't have anything in the pipeline right now for Irish Grove roads.
Yeah.
And the only thing that we would be putting in there would be rock wedges for shoulders or something like that. Because it is on our safety, local road safety plan. But that to me is not a very efficient way to use money.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's what we can do. You start hiring these contractors and, you know, price just goes up.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I like where we put the rock wedge. It just,
It looks good.
it just, running, I mean, it's rock, it costs.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I got some rock delivered to some leases that we have down in Chautauqua County. It's a big 3-inch rock, it's $15 a ton delivered.
yeah, you're close to rock.
Yeah.
So-
He told him he could get as much as that as he needed.
Yeah, it's just, by the time you check on trade out here, it's just,
Yeah,
yeah, just a killer.
it's like, man,
The-
that's cheap, I'd have everything rocked for $15 a ton
The
delivered.
Tornado Yard and Great Bend out at the airport sold to Venture.
Okay.
And so Tornado actually called me and told me that that was happening, and they didn't know what the prices were gonna be. And then Rocky from Venture called me and talked to me, said the prices, and actually they only went up about $1 a ton right now.
And that's the deal at the airport.
They get it in on rail.
Do they have any good hard rock up there? Or is it all that limestone?
I don't know if they have anything that's real hard. I mean, because this AB3 is a lot harder than that real soft limestone we would use.
Yeah, I don't like AB3.
Well, I do because well, that's what we put in the road, and it, once it seals.
But it's too little for what you wanted.
Yeah,
You.
I'm talking about the bigger AB3, where you got bigger, then it's not washed.
So you trying to get something just to, I drive on, or?
Yeah, I need to redo my driveway because all my rocks went down, but
Oh,
I don't like that chalky stuff every time you drive in, it makes the dust cloud.
Yeah, and AB3 will do that for a while until it.
Sets up like concrete, you can't drag it.
Well, you better get right out there after a rain and hope the rain's been slow and it's penetrated.
It's like Quikrete.
It is shelled pretty good. It sheds water pretty good. Other than that, we're just mowing and we're down there north of Clark's feedlot, putting some pipes in. Took out a little bitty bridge and there was an old wooden bridge, been causing us some problems, and just set some bigger pipes in there. I did talk with Kirkland Michael a couple of weeks ago. He's supposed to be finishing up for the crossing up here, so we get that bridge out this morning.
Yeah.
So, and Chris told me he was busy till at least first year, he told me that probably 2 months ago. So probably what we'll do is get all that work done, and just have to wait on him to do the concrete work.
Chris Mansell.
Yeah, yeah.
Off topic a little bit, and you might be able to give us some guidance on this. Where Randy, our IT guy, is in the hospital, if we have a problem, is there some kind of a plan on who the different departments are supposed to call? I could see worst case scenarios, we start having some problems and you guys call somebody from Pratt, the treasurer's office calls somebody from Pratt.
Yeah, and I think you're right, I think whoever the county uses needs to be, everybody needs to be
Be one
one
person.
person, so we don't have people in here that are doing one thing and somebody come along, oh, that ain't right, and then they undo what that person did, I mean.
But I mean, do the departments need to get together and kind of decide who they want to use them and everybody get on the same? I'd rather get ahead of this problem than be trying to fix it next week. Because everything could go to hell on the computers today. Do you care who they use?
Well, we already have problems. Golden Belt, I know at the health department, they're not getting their emails. Because I think that's Golden Belt's problem.
Yeah, they made a change here in the last couple of
Yeah,
weeks.
and it didn't improve. Are you having any problems in the
I'm
courthouse?
not that I'm aware of, I mean, in our office, but I'm sure that's what the issue is. They changed some stuff in their email system.
Do you guys care who we use if we have a problem? Or it would have been nice if Randy would have kind of gave us an idea of who we
Yeah,
use.
kind of in hindsight, we really should have a backup system in place for what we're having happen right now.
Yeah. So what, do you want Lisa to get, do you think Lisa should get in contact with other department heads and kind of come up to, you know, who we should use and then you send out an email to
Yeah, we
everybody?
can do that because we've already talked it just briefly this morning,
Okay.
so, yeah.
Does that
It's
sound
something
all
we
right to
need
you?
address.
I probably would
Yeah.
call around to other counties
Yeah.
and see what they're doing. A lot of times what you do, because it's usually, some people have in-house.
Yeah,
So, I know, I just talked with Edwards County on, they actually discontinued their dispatching service. And it's gonna be dispatched out of Ford County.
Why?
And it sends stuff to their phone, so it's actually, I don't know if it's better or worse, but I mean, they contracted for so much per year.
You know, I think that might be one of those deals like when we went to that commissioner meeting. that
Yeah, the
liberal,
ambulance
And they
deal.
said, oh yeah, we all went to this contract ambulance deal. And one of the other guys said, once you get your first 3-year contract done, when it's cheap, and you've sold all your ambulances, you no longer have any help, it's gonna double in price.
So they've been down that road.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they said you don't wanna do it, and it could be the same with the dispatchers.
Yeah.
Once you lose all your dispatchers and your communication equipment's outdated, they can charge you whatever they want,
Mhm.
and there's nothing you can do about it.
Because you can't go find 3 or 4 people.
Well, it is that, and so many things. The problem is everybody's pushing.
They did their jail too. I mean, if you talk about Edwards County, they
Yeah.
did their dispatching in jail too.
Yeah.
Right now, it says it saves you money, but, you know, I mean,
Right now.
that would have to be a long-term deal where you can realize that, because, you know, yes, help is hard to find, employees are hard to find, but, you know, local knowledge is still so many times.
Oh, yeah. I
I
think
mean,
it's,
that's such an invaluable tool. that-
we save money, you know, save taxpayer money in Stafford County by shipping it out of county, and then we're basically giving up 5 jobs in county and shipping our money out of county.
Is there anyone else in Great Bend? What we need is an IT person. We don't need a computer
Yeah.
just somebody can answer
supplier or
questions.
whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if you realize this, but anything involving computers is out of my wheelhouse.
Really?
Is
Well-
Randy capable of talking?
Who sets your tracker?
They've got him sedated.
Usually I'm on the phone with my sister.
Phone calls, emails.
No, he's been life flighted to Denver.
Oh, I didn't hear
Yeah.
that part.
Is he on a vent?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
intubated.
So he can't talk.
Yeah, well, that's not good.
No. I do know at times if he was on vacation or he was gone to where he couldn't cover us here, he does have somebody that did back up for him. Now, I don't know if Nita remembers who that is. We can talk about that when she gets in later this afternoon. and
Well, that
see.
would be at least a stop
Yeah.
for temporary.
Somebody
things.
to reach out to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe something we can look up, who we paid
Doesn't he
before.
do?
Oh, he does multiple places. Yes, there are a lot of people that are gonna be in the same boat we are.
But I mean, I think that'd be something that we ought to try to get done today. And then
Yes.
you send out an email to everybody who's on the same page.
Okay.
Well, at least, yeah, at least a temporary fix. I mean,
Yeah.
very seldom do we have very many issues.
It's just the deal of trying to get ahead of the problem, so we don't.
Yeah.
Well, it's times like this.
Yeah, who have you been using?
It happens in,
Pace?
P-A-K-E, from Stafford, but he works for EBS and Pratt. So either EBS itself or maybe him individually as a side gig might be something.
Peak?
Who?
We've been using Pake Sipes recently just because Randy's been too busy to get to us when we don't have a lot, but every once in a while we have something we need help with. And we've started using him, he's a Stafford native that works in Pratt now. And, so,
Okay.
Okay.
that's all the cheery news I have for you.
Have a joyful day.
What, Phil, I've been meaning to ask you, what kind of security system cameras do you have out at your county barn? Or do you have much? Or maybe we should
We-
not talk about it in open session on camera. what
No,
you
we have-
Don't have.
We've had a couple of them quit. I think we've got 7 of them.
Okay. Are you like what you have?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't, other than the ones that are, you know,
Yeah.
and I think it's just a matter of
Putting a
getting
new
in place.
camera?
And I probably got people down there that could actually do it.
Yeah.
We just need to buy the cameras and get it done, I mean, but who originally put them in, was it
Oh,
Brad a great bid, wasn't it?
yes,
PNS or
PNS.
CPS?
yes.
Okay.
But then,
And then Randy
and
took
then
over.
Randy's did some of it.
Yeah.
So. Cause actually we got, I mean, we have pretty good security down there.
Yeah.
First of all, those guys don't, and if somebody got in there, they wouldn't know when the sheriff was coming in to get fuel, because those guys are in there all times of night,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah.
and then-
It's lit up well enough, I don't know if you guys are ever gonna have any trouble.
So, well,
And it's fenced in. I mean, or most of it's fenced in.
yeah.
Speaking of Randy's deal, if something happens to you, do you have your second in command
I'm sorry.
that can step right in,
Yeah,
knows how to do everything?
yeah, pretty much. I mean, short term, I mean, he could, I mean, so many things that we got laid out are year to year. I mean, we know what we're gonna do for road work for next year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's laid out before you're in.
But as far as applying for grants, for the striping
Well,
and doing stuff like that?
Those are usually done with our consultant engineer gets with me and say, hey, you want to apply for this, you want to apply for that. I mean, to keep applying for this bridge over there by Quivira.
Yeah, so they know,
Bridge.
they know who the consultant engineer and who they need to contact for
They-
this and that.
Yeah, Pete's met all of them. And so I will bring the other one into the loop on that.
That might be a discussion you need to have, you know, instead of just assuming they know what to do.
No, I agree. I mean, I need to probably do a better job of.
We're not
things
all
out.
bulletproof, we
I know.
feel like we are.
No, I know, well, I know I'm not bulletproof, I done proved that. So, but yeah.
But yeah, that might be a good deal to have them sit down in a long one day with him as far as running through some scenarios and asking if he has any questions.
So,
That and your second or your third command too.
okay. That's all I can, I don't know, feeble mind, I guess.
Did consult your notes?
So, yeah, we'll get started there later this fall, getting out stuff we're gonna work on next year, getting that rock and getting the bad places cut up, so. So I'm sure you'll hear all about that, because old 50 will be one, and that's.
That'll be clay.
Yeah,
I think everybody realizes what you're doing. I mean, you basically do the same thing every year. I mean,
yeah.
that's what you need to do.
I did talk to the auditor once, where, I can't remember what we were talking about, maybe it was about some of the Sparks money or something, but I know Kingman County has where they had a deal, run for 10 years, that so many mills would go toward buying road
Junior
material.
so played for the San Diego Chargers.
Really?
Mighty
Okay.
Dolphins.
I don't know how you come up on that.
Is that somebody from Australia?
No, she's Brit. How I come up with Junior Seau, but anyway, it's, what was it?
So many mills,
Yeah, and I can't, I'd
Go
have
to
to
road
start.
material.
And actually, it is sundown and they'd actually recruited again, so I mean, it's just a way to think outside the box.
Mhm.
I mean, people don't have a problem paying for infrastructure as long as they see something happening.
Yeah.
It's like when it's under the ground, like the sewer, it's hard to vision that much money going into the ground because it's not something you see. but
Tangible,
You
yeah.
you do use it.
Yeah.
It's a very necessary
That's an
function.
investment, that's a good deal, because, I mean, that's an investment, it's probably gonna be 60, 70-year investment.
I know.
I mean, it needed it.
So, yeah, and who knows where things are gonna go on cost. But it's just like I told the oil companies, we've got so much budget and that's all we're gonna spend on that,
Yeah.
so. All right?
okay,
Super.
thanks,
All right.
Bill.
Thank you.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the September 15th, 2021 meeting.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, accept the minutes of September 15th, 2021. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
I've, we had talked about the fairground building as far as wanting them to give us some proposals
Mhm.
on what it was gonna cost. I think it would be best just to give them a set amount of money. Do you think that's probably the best
Yeah, that's
course of
fine.
action?
Then they
Then they can
to
build
what they
it.
want.
Yep. Do I need to make that into a motion that we're gonna send them that amount, or just tell them, or what?
I would think they would probably require a motion. At least it'll be in the minutes, and, after so many months back, they'll say how much, and well, we don't remember, and
Yeah. So what is that funding called?
ARPA.
ARPA.
I make a motion that we ear tag $250,000 of the ARPA Spark funding for the Fair Board to replace their round top and build a new building which can be used as a mass vaccination center and childcare also.
Second.
sounds good to me. Motion has been made to earmark some of the Sparks money for a fair building. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
What do you guys want to do about this INA deal? Do we want,
I figured we'd kind of let Rob talk.
or do we want to schedule a appointment with Rob and maybe have that guy come down and talk to us?
Yeah.
Because I'd like to kind of figure out, we've got some of the sewer money allocated. Just allocated some for the fair. I think it makes sense to pay for this INA with ARPA.
Yeah.
And then whatever's left, we can figure out to Evo Devo for the request.
Yeah, I would like, it would be interesting to have them come out or be able to go somewhere where they would have the cameras that they would install in our county.
Yeah.
To actually see if at 150 yards you can zoom in and read a license plate.
Yeah.
Because if you can't make an ID or read a license plate, you're basically wasting your money.
Yeah.
And then this is mainly for law enforcement
Yeah.
exclusively? I mean,
Well,
they,
no one else will have access to them but law enforcement and county attorney.
It'll mainly be more under, on intersections and stuff, where you can punch in a tag number, and if that tag number crosses there, it alerts the dispatcher.
So if we had a camera station at K-19 and 281, that camera would read every license plate and vehicle description that goes through that intersection, 365, 24/7, night or day. And if Rob was looking for KSA 004, he can plug that into the software, and the artificial intelligence will search back through every vehicle that went through it, and in about 30 seconds pull up every time that vehicle went through that intersection. Or if Rob's looking for a white mid-sized F-150, he can plug that in to the if-then statement. The artificial intelligence will pull up every white mid-size F-150 that came through the intersection. Now, I know the city council in St. John talked about it last night. They're looking at putting them at every entrance and exit of St. John, because I know they've had some, not complaints, but some qualms about not having an officer on duty 24/7, which in our small community, you just can't, you can't do it. But if they would put them at, I think it would take 10 places or 8 places to cover every entrance and exit of St. John. So for 25,000, you could know exactly who was coming in and out of your town all the time.
But you know, when Rob's looking for people
Yeah.
that's been on the run or something, instead of having every deputy that comes on duty driving through Hudson, through Seward, out in the country, I mean, it would basically take the place of one deputy to know what's going on around the county, to where they don't have to physically drive around and look for them.
so they're also looking at 15281.
Yeah, I mean, we would look at, and that's why I think Rob needs to be a major part of the discussion, because if they're not on board to use it, you know, if they're not gung-ho to do it, I don't think that we should do it. But if they think that they would use it, or, you know, other departments that needed to, you know, KHP or our local law enforcement, you know, our city departments, if they would use it, then there's no use in doing it. But I think that it's going, the whole point of the presentation was, it's not just filming what's going on. Like 10 years ago, it was nice to just have it on film and know what it's filming. But now it's knowing the camera, the artificial intelligence software is built in, so it's configured to know what it's actually seen. So like we can program cameras that if anybody would walk into our walk or drive into our county dump between the hours of 5 o'clock in the evening or whatever, 3:30 when he closes, to through the night, 7 a.m., it would call the sheriff. If a deer walks by, it will recognize that it's a deer and it won't call him. But,
Yeah.
or you can do it like if we're looking for a vehicle, we're looking for a red car, red Ford Mustang, we can program that into the system, and when the cameras around the county see that, it will call the sheriff and they can pull it up and see, you know, who it was. But it's stuff that's, I mean, I always knew it existed, but it's actually here and tangible with a company that's local that you can do it with. I don't know.
I think they would think like if you took 6 or 7 major intersections in our county, it would give the sheriff's department a pretty good idea of, you know, where you can put a timeline. But that deal of, you know, used to you had to scroll back through the coverage. So I mean, if you get a vehicle description and license plate number, you bring it up in 30 seconds, it tells you
A lot of this stuff communicates with air fiber, so it's sending it's like fiber optic, but it's through the air, so they'll have towers on wherever you put them. Say you did K-19 and 281, you'd have a tower on top of the elevator at Seward, most likely. And then, around to where they can all communicate back to your home base. 170-mile range. So, but I think that you can get whatever type of cameras you want. I mean, he pulled up a camera, I think it was down in Texas at a high school, that was probably 150 yards away from the front door, and he zoomed all the way in to where you could read the handicap sign on the door.
Yeah.
He said that was a $20,000 camera, so
Good.
you can literally go from just a simple motion camera all the way up to, there's like 300 different cameras, but I don't know, it's something I think we need to have a talk with and get these things that are gonna be, I don't mind allocating this ARPA funding now so we can get to work using it. But this is a clear, or in my mind, it's a clear qualifier for ARPA.
Good luck, Mike.
Yeah, see you, Mike.
I'll
So,
be next to our meeting.
our sheriff's officers, you can make the case they don't have to make contact with as many people. and-
Right.
I asked the guy, I said, so in my mind, this qualifies ARPA, no doubt. And he said, yeah, every county that we're talking to, there's plenty of entities that are using ARPA funding to pay for something like this.
It sounded like the cameras would run between 2,800 and 3,200 apiece.
And then whatever, I mean, he would have to come obviously and talk to us about infrastructure. I know that's the camera, but if he has to do air fiber antennas in certain places, and we'll just have to see. But
I think it's definitely worth having, shoot us a bid,
Yeah.
see whether we can afford it or not.
I think we should just talk
Get
to,
Rob's input.
I think we should talk to Rob and have him put together like not a wish list, but a plan that would make sense as far as intersections go and places that, because I know Marshall is going to put together his own plan for the fire department. He wants security cameras. He feels like they're not covered as well as they should be at their fire departments just for security purposes, not necessarily for prevention, law enforcement
Yeah.
prevention purposes. But so I think he's going to put together a deal for his budget, but I think Rob, I guess they would probably use it the most at intersections.
Yeah.
So if he could give us a good scenario of how to cover the county pretty decent with intersection wise, then we can maybe have that guy come in and see what it would take to do it.
They've got what they call it, like a 4-lens head, or?
Yeah, so it's just one post at each intersection, and it's all encompassed into one globe, where the cameras point 4 different directions out of one globe.
The way I understood it, it was one camera with a lens that would shoot 2 different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could have one camera that would be like
Yeah.
shining on or showing the fire department at Seward, and then it would also be looking both directions down the road.
You could do the north and south and right there around the fire department.
And on their body cameras, is most of their stuff Motorola? Is that what it was?
Ours is through a company out of Monticello, theirs is Motorola.
Yeah, theirs is Motorola, which just bought WatchGuard.
Yeah.
So WatchGuard's the actual
Brand.
body camera brand.
But they're like patrol car cameras and the body cameras, he said it's got a neat feature to where if an officer's walking up onto a stop that he thinks is a little odd, I think you push a button or do something, and then it instantly pops up on the dispatcher's computer screen where they can see live time what's going on.
Yeah, it's got
Or
artificial
something.
intelligence to where if your officer gets in a...
It could be
your
a good thing or a
officer-
bad deal, but.
Yeah. It's got artificial intelligence that'll recognize if your officer is in a situation where he's fighting with somebody hand to hand, it will start dispatching more people
Yeah.
and pull up a live feed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of somebody getting shot, you can give the dispatcher, give a description and do it right away out of it.
Yeah.
It's a cool deal.
I think we oughta, have you talked to him or?
No, I haven't. I was counting up before, and I'm at like 18 cameras possibly
In the county?
in the county. That's four-way, three-way, two-way cameras, kind of like what you said, it's one camera, but the 4 points.
Yeah.
And there's some of them three ways, and some towns though, when you get to the towns though, you're talking 2 cameras per town, going 2 ways. And
But like if the cameras that would like be in Maxville, if Maxville has some of that ARPA funding, and then I'm assuming Hudson Radium and Seward would too. I mean, if we could get the small towns to use their ARPA funding if they don't have a plan for it, to help pay
Yeah.
for part of this.
See, St. John, they pitched it, or from what I heard at the city council last night, they used most of their ARPA funding for their sewer project. But they had money budgeted for the sewer project, so it's not like, you know, it's kind of 6 one, half a dozen the other. I think the guy that I talked to felt like they may be able to get something done on it, but they wanted to have a more informational meeting on it, you know, with the guy that come down and talk to them, but I think that there could be an opportunity with some cost sharing, you know, for sure, but, so you're thinking 18, you know, that would tie up 55,000 in camera equipment. I mean, you could, I think you could easily
And I'm not
have,
sure 18 is quite enough, but I mean, that's on the main.
I think that you
stuff I was
could
talking about.
get another, I mean, this is me ignorantly just throwing a number, but you could get twice that
That's kind of what I was thinking.
and all the infrastructure and stuff, but, I mean, I think you could spend 100,000 if you wanted to on cameras and probably not have everything covered that you actually wanted to have covered, but.
But do you want to get with him and have him come down and,
I'd like to know more about it, yeah. I think if you came down again and talked to more of the.
I mean, to where he can kind of explain to you, you know, the rural, or mean, like Ike and Joe's intersection, what we're gonna have to do there to get it set up and kind of get an idea of where he can tell you can put cameras and can't.
And
I guess it'd be nice to get a ballpark dollar figure from him.
I'd like to know a little bit more about the other cities that are doing this and making sure
Yeah.
it's
That at 100 yards, you can actually read the license plate
really
number,
simple, yeah.
and it works as good as he says it does.
On a moving car that blew
Yeah.
the stop sign
I
at
kept
70
thinking, he
miles an
said
hour.
3,200 for the top of the line they can do,
Yeah,
and that's what I've been figuring, especially 3,200. I
Yeah.
sometimes up ballpark 35 to each camera spot location.
yeah.
Yeah.
Things like that, or each camera way, I guess.
Yeah,
Because that'd be 4 different camera type systems in a 4-way intersection, like the rest, the roundabout or something like that.
Yeah. I think it'd be.
well, I think we could have Nita reach out to them, or we could reach out to Munden, I guess, because he's the salesman, but, and have the owner of the company come and talk to us again.
Or do you want to set up something with him?
I can get hold of mine and we just try it. Well, we'll have to try to, if you want to get all the cities involved too at the same time. and-
Well, it'd be nice if we could figure out, you know, like, the cameras are this much, but if you gotta put the tower on top of Kansas elevator, Radium Seward, Hudson,
Yeah.
I mean, are those $1,500 tower, or those are $50,000? You know, if it's gonna run us $500,000, we can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to get a ton of money wrapped up into
Yeah.
it, but I think if we have some ARPA funding to do it, we probably ought to look at it, because it's like we were saying the other day in the meeting, the cameras are never a fun expense. Our security system is never a fun expense because you don't see a return on it until something bad happens. So if you had some funding, that would, it might soften the blow a little bit, I guess, in my mind, but I hate spending money on cameras just because it's not, I can't
Yeah.
go out and use it.
Yeah.
But,
You have to think that cameras are kind of their insurance policy.
yeah,
I mean, really with the officers having the cameras on, it can basically cover, you say, oh, he did this to me. No, we have it all filmed when we did
Yeah.
it. It's kind of an insurance policy, basically. It's a,
But if you don't have good enough cameras to where you can either make IDs or read license plate, I mean,
Yeah.
that would be the worst deal, is to spend money on a camera and then you can kind of see what's going on,
Yeah.
but you really can't do any
It's a
good.
ghost.
Yeah.
okay, we'll get it set up.
So are we gonna set it up or is Rob gonna set it up?
How about like Rob? and-
Yeah, I
and
think
see
Rob
if
needs
we
to.
can-
Okay.
We just get everybody involved in it at one time.
The local law enforcement as well?
I would say get the local ones and what cities that would be wanting to involve it, and might as well just do it all at once.
Yeah,
That'd be good.
sounds good.
Carolyn, do you have something? No?
Not really, no,
It's been a while since they've seen us.
that's right.
We'll recess.
Oh, I thought you said you were on camera.
No.
Yeah. I'm making sure we weren't.
He'd have been talking less. So we're gonna contact the department heads, see what kind of computer problems.
Plan.
Don't
Yep.
forget the health department, because they
Yep.
got major
Okay.
problems. Golden Belt. And then we'll see if we can find, if we have a backup person. Right?
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know of anything else about
I don't know.
needing an IT person, but it'll probably cost us a lot more than what it's been costing us if we get somebody outside.
Yeah.
So, anything else?
Nope.
All right, we're adjourned.